Incidence of lungworm is increasing in dogs with our warmer, wetter climates, making us, of course, more prone to it. So how does a dog contract it and how is it treated? What do you do if you're a worried dog owner and you suspect your dog might have it? Well, Pete the vet is here with all the answers to lungworm this morning. Not a great subject, Pete, is it?
It sounds disgusting.
Yes, but of course it has to be discussed.
It does.
And it's becoming more common in Ireland.
It is. We never used to think about it at all. It used to be like an exceptionally rare problem that vets occasionally came across. But it's now, we're not sure why exactly. Is it warmer, wetter weather? Are there other reasons? We don't really know why, but it is becoming more common.
OK, so we can't ignore it.
Can't ignore it. And what's important is that the standard wormers that vets would dispense don't necessarily treat for lungworm. So people can't just assume because they worm their dog now and again that they're OK. That's not necessarily the case. So
what exactly is it? Of course, you have your little friend Spike here with you this morning.
Yeah. Now, Spike hasn't got lungworm, but what happened was Spike comes from a family who had another little dog called Patch. And a year ago, Patch became very ill very suddenly, started to have difficulty breathing and started to cough, and was taken to the vet, and very shortly afterwards started to bleed a lot from all different sorts of places and ended up having a brain hemorrhage and dying. So basically, the signs that Patch showed were absolutely typical of lungworm. And
so if you can identify any of these symptoms, you should probably have it checked.
You should go to the vet straight away.
So now, coughing, abnormal bleeding, general dullness.
General dullness, just a dog just not being themselves in some way. Now, dogs don't always show all of those signs, and I should stress that, like, I've only ever seen 2 dogs die of lungworm.
OK,
but 2
so we're
dogs
not trying to frighten any pet owners this morning.
No, but 2 dogs is kind of too many when they're dogs that people dote on and absolutely love, like Patch. And dogs don't always show all those signs. The most common thing is that a dog just coughs a bit.
OK.
And that cough needs to be treated urgently, otherwise it might go on to develop some of the other signs.
Of course, OK.
And what's important, there's 2 really important messages that people need to know. The first thing is that young dogs are much more prone than older dogs. And the dog that died, Patch, was just a year old, and that's typical.
OK.
And the second thing is that dogs, they get it from eating slugs, snails, and maybe from frogs.
Right.
And so dogs that go out rummaging around the garden, they're particularly prone to it.
They're going to be more prone.
And even if you never see them eating slugs and snails, even if they're just eating grass, sometimes there are tiny, tiny slugs and snails on the grass. Or if they're chewing bones, there could be a slug on the bone. You know, that kind of a thing.
Of course, yeah, yeah. And young dogs less than 4
they're the ones that are most
likely
prone to it, most prone to it. And so, you know, if you have a dog like that, then what you ought to do is take some preemptive action of some kind.
So there's a basic treatment out there, Pete?
There's different treatments that are available. At the moment, there's only one licensed treatment. In other words, one treatment where they've done all the work to prove absolutely that it treats lungworm effectively. And that's a spot-on product. That, you know, it's people are familiar with this type of thing because they've been around for a long time to treat for fleas and roundworms. But this is a new one and it's a special one. It does cover fleas as well, and it does cover roundworms as well, but specifically it treats for lungworm. And so this little dog, Spike, because of the previous experience that the owners had, they give this little dog a spot-on like this once a month.
Okay.
They just squeeze.
How is it applied, Pete?
All you do is you take the lid off it, you break the seal, and then you squeeze it onto the back of the animal's neck, just like this. It's really, really easy to do. And I mean,
such a straightforward procedure, really, isn't it?
I mean, there's a cost to it. Like, these little vials cost something like 10 or 15 euro each. So I'm not really wanting to say that everybody with every dog in the country should use this once a month.
No, but look out for the signs, I think.
If you have a young dog that likes eating slugs or snails, especially, you should definitely do this once a month.
They're most at risk.
And other people, you should think about doing this. And if your dog shows any of those signs of possible lungworm infection, then you ought to go to your vet.
Brilliant. Can you pick up that little treatment in pet shops, Pete?
No, it's one of those ones that's quite tightly controlled. It's only sold through vets. If it's given to the wrong animal, it could cause problems. So it's prescription-only medicine, actually.
All right. Yeah. Now, once we have that out of the way, Pete, if anybody missed Pete's appearance last week on the show, of course, it was your 10-year anniversary with us, Pete.
It was.
And it was a special morning. And, of course, we had to have a very special cake. You might remember this. And this is, so the cake is modelled on your own family dog.
Spot, yes.
Spot, who has actually 2 different coloured eyes. So this is Spot meeting the replica.
He was quite nervous about meeting his doppelganger. And you know what he did? He took the bone off the cake. He grabbed the bone from his doppelganger and ate the bone. And
Really?
Spot was delighted with that.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd say it was quite surreal for him to see this cake arriving at home. So have you gone through the whole cake?
It was a delicious cake. It was carrot cake with a bit of ginger in it, and it was, I think the people who did it, they're called amazingcakes.ie.
That's right.
And I have to say, it was the best cake I've had in a long, long, long time.
So it didn't just look good, it tasted good as well.
It tasted delicious.
Great.
We were all thrilled with it.
Great, and congratulations, 10 years with us.
Hard to believe.
It
Thank
is,
you very much.
yeah.
Thank you.